Welcome back to Ribs Real Estate and Ramblings with Roy May. I know that's me, right? And today I have a very special guest, Mitchell Kleckley. He's with Pilgrim Mortgage. We'll get into that here in a second. Because again, it's Ribs Real Estate and Ramblings, so we're going to cover all three. But just a reminder, we're coming here from Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue in College Station, just right off the bypass. We're going to sit down and have some ribs, and we're going to kind of talk. And this is going to be a little informational too. Like we're going to just kind of talk, because it's barbecue, you just kind of talk, right? But you've got probably some of the most desired and requested information when it comes to the real estate world. Or at least you have the most desired and requested questions. And now whether or not we ever have the answers, right? We never know. So, first off, you're with Pilgrim Mortgage. If you want to kind of in short, just talk real quick about the company and kind of your broad scope of what you provide and kind of what you guys, kind of your main wheelhouse for what you do here at BCS.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I appreciate you think that I'm special. I'm a special guest here today. So I am with Pilgrim Mortgage. I'm a mortgage lender. Pilgrim Mortgage is an independent mortgage bank in San Antonio. We have a branch here in College Station. We've been here in College Station for about 5 years, about the same time I've been in the business. So we focus on residential mortgage lending. We don't lend on land, we don't lend on lots, but it has to have a house on it. So all these fun things, questions you talk about that people want to know, rates and all that kind of fun stuff. We deal with it every day. So
yeah. So and as soon as he says it, I can see the ears. As soon as he says the word rates, and I get it because I feel your pain as well. Because we get the same questions. We just kind of pass the buck on you. Well, let me call Mitchell. So we're gonna get away from that for a second. You are a new father.
I am.
All right. So how old is your child? Tell a little bit about your kiddo, and then we're gonna get into what it is to be a new dad. Because I'm an old dad. I'm about to be an empty nester. So I'm on the back end of it.
Okay.
But yeah, so just let us all know about your beautiful blessing.
Yeah, so I have an 8-year-old son, but my wife and I, Leslie, just adopted a little girl, Kennedy Ray. She's been with us since November, but June the 15th. She was born on, so she's 7.5 months. So June the 15th, we finalized, she is officially a Kleckley, and so she has been the biggest joy and brought us a lot of happiness.
How's the boy reacting? And
so we were very concerned about that in the beginning because he was a baby for 8 years and on his own, but he has adjusted very well. He's the best big brother. Nobody can make this little girl laugh like her big brother.
Oh, that's
and they have a really special bond. She lights up every time he comes in the room. So we are certainly blessed.
Well, having that bond between children, it definitely helps. It helps parents. It really does.
For sure.
When your kids get along.
Sure.
I only have one. Now she's big enough to be about 1.5. She's 5'10". She's a monster. She's not a knuckle dragger like her dad, but she got some of the height. So one was enough for us.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't ask me how does it feel being almost 43 and starting over, but that's another story. But.
Well, I was trying to say, I said new dad. I tried to be nice about it. And you and I are about the same age, so that's why I sit here and think, no, I'm good. It's just, we finally got her through high school. It's like we have passed another leg of the marathon.
Be round two.
Yeah, no, that's probably a hard pass. Not to mention I need clearance for the tower, and that tower being my wife.
Right.
Yes, air traffic control tells me not to take off. We're not taking off. So to get back into your job, and Mitchell and Pilgrim Mortgage are one of our preferred lenders at Bock Realty Group. We love working with Mitchell. He does a fantastic job. His whole company does. And that's one of those things in this industry. If you do a good job and you provide customer service, chances are you're going to stick around, right? And it's just, and that's really any industry. But there's so many choke points in this process that can go wrong because of, sometimes it's just overlooking things or, attention to detail. So that's I'm kind of pumping Pilgrim Mortgage here, but for good reason. So what's your most asked question, not about interest rates? Because I know, because what's the rate every day? What are the rates, or when are the rates going down, right? Those are the two questions you get the most. I get the same questions. I'm like, I'm not a lender. I have zero idea. I don't know.
Right.
But so what's the question you probably hear the most that's not about what are the rates or are the rates going down? Like, what is it?
Yeah, the other than that, that's the first thing that comes to my mind for sure. Other than that, it's probably, do I really have to have 20% down to buy a home? And the answer is no, you do not. So 3.5% on an FHA, 3 to 5% on a conventional loan to buy a primary residence. So there's a lot of misconception out there, and that's one reason I enjoy my job. I came out of a pastoral role and a teaching role, so I get to teach mortgage now with especially first-time home buyers and people who haven't been in the game in a long time. So I would say that's probably the biggest question.
Okay. Well, and I think that's one thing where I'll try and talk a little bit in case you want to eat.
No.
But we do let them take the food home if they don't get through it. So, you know, this isn't just a prop by any means. See, it's real. Okay, yeah, no, it's real. Okay, just check. So, and I know the rates is always a big question, but I think that's also from a real estate point of view something I've really enjoyed, just kind of early in my career, is the ability to teach people through the process. And it's not just the first-time home buyers.
Right.
You know, sometimes it's the people that are re-entering the market after 20 or 30 years, and no matter how much they know about what, you know, the process was when they went through it, it's different 5 years ago, right? So I think being able to educate people on what is the biggest purchase you'll ever make in your life, right, is your house.
Right.
And so, and you know, and it's not just a house, it's not a property, it's their home, you know, and so I think people sometimes get caught up thinking that lenders and real estate agents are just very transactional, and we're kind of like, all right, here's a house, all right, I sold it, here's a house, all right, I sold it. And I think there's a lot more that really goes into making sure that these people are, you know, and these clients are finding, you know, what works for them, and a place they can call home, and you know, kick their feet up, and really, whether it's grow a family or on the back end, you know, retire and relax, and that home is going to be there forever home. So I love the education part of it, just because the more people know, the easier everything gets anyways, right?
Yeah, the easiest way for me to look at this as an extension of ministry. I mean, I'm still in a pastoral role, but just in a different field. So we wear all kinds of hats: financial advisor, marriage counselor, because buying a home can be one of the most stressful things you do. But for sure, it's the biggest investment you're going to make, most people are going to make in their life. And you need to know that you have somebody that you can trust working with it. And so one of the reasons why I even jumped into this business, my brother kind of twisted my arm and told me it was a good thing, he wanted to hire me, but he sold it to me as it's about relationships. It's about relationships with your referral partners, people you get to know and trust that will trust you with their clients, but also the relationship with the buyer. A lot of what we do, and you understand this as a realtor, is managing fear, because the media pumps out a lot of fear all the time, and they feed off of that, right? So our job is to manage that fear and help just educate people, get them calm, understand the process. And you know, I really enjoy walking somebody step by step through the process. We are big on, hey, can we come in, can we sit face to face? We just believe that's the best way to do business, and walk them through the process, look at scenarios, look at numbers, look at real things, and talk to them about that. So.
Okay, we kind of touched on this.
Right.
We're staying with it. So, and obviously we're not going to single anybody out, because if this is, I'm asking you kind of what's you hear the most kind of thing, so it's going to be a majority. What's the thing within the lending or kind of your entire process with appraisals that you have to deal with and everything? What is the one thing that everybody thinks that they know that they are absolutely wrong about? Or like it's the one thing that everybody, like the majority of people truly think that they understand and they just really don't. And it's not a knock on anybody if you're not in the, you know, lending or real estate world. It's okay to think that you know something about it, but like what's the one, like it's a hard, or maybe there was one instance where somebody was super hard-headed about something. It's like, no, I read this in the news, I read this in the paper, and you're like, but seriously, this is how regulations work.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is, say for instance, dealing with a self-employed borrower, Okay, so we do loans for self-employed people all the time. We have different products for those kind of things, but there are people who make a ton of money in business. But when you take deductions and write off everything that you make, we understand why you do that. Nobody wants to pay Uncle Sam more than they have to. But when you do that, for us as a lender, the guidelines state we have to use the net income. So there are things, that formulas we use to add income back in, depreciation, stuff like that. But the biggest issue and pushback that we get is, why do I have to provide all this documentation? One. The other thing is, how in the world can I not qualify? I make a lot of money. Well, on paper, you don't, okay? but
it's how much you make according to the IRS, right?
So there was a thing that happened back in 2008 that most people have PTSD over, about the housing crash. We are not in a housing bubble right now, right, by the way, it's not going to happen. But now we're so highly regulated that we have this thing called, we have to prove the ability to repay. That's where all of this extra documentation comes in. Because you mentioned a while ago, there's some people just getting back into the game. They might have bought back in the 80s when the rates were 20% in the teens. But there was a lot less regulation, a lot less paperwork. And now it seems like you sign a stack of papers this big when you get a loan. But it is a little bit harder to qualify than it was back then. However, people are vetted a lot better, and we know have more confidence that somebody's going to be able to afford the home long term.
The loans aren't as high risk as they were, during that kind of crash, right?
Right.
It's just all that extra paperwork goes into ensuring more of the validity of the loan.
Right.
Is that all right?
Yeah, and part of the reason why that big crash happened was there was so much inventory out there, and we are in a very low inventory market, which you know well as a realtor.
We could talk for hours about how few houses we have. That's not just here, it's nationally. That starter home, that 3.2, 1,600 square foot. Yeah, it's just.
We could go off on that for a long time, but we are in a higher rate market, but it's still a great time to buy because right now there's less competition in the market. You can get a better deal from a seller.
Well, and this leads directly into kind of one of my last questions is, why is every market engageable? And why is it, I get that there's a buyer's market, there's a seller's market, right?
Right.
But there just comes times in lives where you have to move and you have to find a home, or you have to find something. And so and I kind of phrase it, why is every market engageable? But I think we know why, half of the time. Right. So why, even where we're at, is this market truly engageable? Is it gettable for a buyer?
Well, the thing is right now, again, with the higher interest rates, you have a lot more people sitting on the sidelines. And so that's less competition getting the market. Less competition means that you're going to have the ability to make a better deal with a seller. If you wait, like a lot of people say they're going to do, until rates come down, you're going to have a flood in
You're not the only one waiting for rates to come down.
So therefore, you're going to be paying higher prices, over asking, cash offers, appraisal waivers, no seller concessions. There's a lot of things that will happen, like happened in 2020 and 2021, where you got buyers fatigue because you got buyers that offered 10 times on different houses and lost. And so it is a good time to buy. You can always refinance. There's a little saying out there called "date the rate, marry the house."
Marry the house. Yeah.
Get a house now for a good price, and then you can always refinance later. Because if you wait, the prices are just going to continue to go up.
No, absolutely. All right, well, I picked your brain enough. And again, so Mitchell's with Pilgrim Mortgage, and I'm with Bock Realty Group. If you guys ever want to reach out to us and you have questions specific to kind of more the Brazos Valley area, you can reach out to either of us. We'll try to make sure that we get his contact info, down link or in the description below. But this is Ribs Real Estate and Ramblings. I generally do all of the rambling, but we did talk about some real estate, and really, to an extent, the backbone of the real estate industry is lending. Just not everybody's a cash buyer. So I appreciate you coming on and really kind of clarifying some things. But most importantly is the ribs. President of the United States, I don't know, some huge foreign dignitary, I don't know, the mayor of College Station, whatever, is coming to your house and you have to cook ribs. What's your recipe go? Or do you do ribs?
Oof. Throwing me right under the bus, boy.
Everybody gets thrown under this bus.
So I will say this.
We have a guest that doesn't do ribs.
I will say this. I don't barbecue. However,
okay,
I love barbecue, And I have lots of friends that do barbecue, so I feel like I don't have to.
Okay, well, so let's say you're going to a barbecue, all right?
Okay.
And they want you to bring something. Now, do you cook kind of at all? You like Christmas stuff together? What side are you bringing this? Since you're not bringing the meat, what side is kind of like your go-to? Like you always make it well, or it's your favorite, or it's a crowd favorite, but you got to make it. You can't just go get it.
Man, I make some pretty mean deviled eggs. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a staple.
Deviled eggs.
First of all, deviled eggs are a staple all year long. If they're selling eggs, deviled eggs are in stock.
So deviled eggs, I make a rice casserole that I'll take sometimes, which sounds weird to people, but it's like a chili rice casserole, got a little heat to it. Cheese.
Give us a couple of ingredients. You don't have to spill all the beans, but
rice, sour cream, mozzarella cheese, Monterey Jack cheese, green chilies, basically.
That's just green chili.
Yeah.
And then what? Bake it in the oven.
Bake it in the oven.
This guy.
That's a go-to.
See?
Yeah.
See, you never know. All right, well, so Mitchell, thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate you coming being guest.
Honored to be here.
So before we close up, I'm going to give you 15, 30 seconds, however long you want. Look in the camera and you let anybody know, about Pilgrim, where to reach you, anything you might be doing currently with your church, this is your time, so go ahead and fire away, man.
Awesome.
Floor is
Well, I
yours.
appreciate the opportunity, Roy, and it's always an honor working with you, and I appreciate the shout out today. So, yeah, guys, if you have any interest at all in purchasing a home and financing, please get in touch with me, www.aggielender.com. We call ourselves the Aggie Lender Team. I'm fighting Texas Aggie Class of 02, and I have a loan partner who's fighting Texas Aggie Class of 21. And so, so we love selling loans. And by the way, licensed throughout the state, so you don't have to be in Bryan College Station to get a loan from us. And so, very fortunate to be in this business and look forward to many years working together.
There you go. That's like I said when I started, Lord willing, so we've been doing this for another 20 years, right? All right, so we're going to go and wrap this episode. We're coming here from Cooper's Barbecue here in Aggieland. So again, we'll see you the next time. And remember, you can always sit around with a buddy and have barbecue and have great conversations. It doesn't always have to be about real estate, but sometimes it does have to be, right? So you guys have a good one. We'll see y'all next time.